In this lesson, we are going to cover the quadratic formula. So far, we have learned two methods of solving quadratic equations. The first one was factorization, and the other one was complete the square method. So in this method, we are going to complete the square of a general quadratic equation. A general quadratic equation is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So completing the square will give us the quadratic formula. So let's complete the square of this general quadratic expression and see what we get at the end of it. So this is a general quadratic equation. We make it a perfect square, so we take c to the right hand side. So we have ax squared plus bx is equals to minus c. We make the coefficient of x squared to be 1. We divide by a, divide by a, divide by a. So a divided by a, we get 1. So our equation now we get, it is x squared plus b over a x is equals to minus c divided by a. From there, to make this a perfect square, we find what we can add here. So we add the coefficient of x divided by 2. So our expression will be x squared plus b over a x plus b over 2a. That is, we have divided b over a by 2, and then we square, should be equals to minus c over a, and we add the same, that is b over 2a into bracket squared. Now we can make this a perfect square. So we have our x, we get our x is x plus b over 2a into bracket squared is equals to minus c over a plus into bracket b over 2a into bracket squared. From there we'll get the square root of both sides. So the square root of this side and the square root of this side. So we will have our x plus b over 2a is equals to plus or minus the square root of minus c over a plus b over 2a into bracket, this is square. Now when we square the right hand side, then we will have our x plus b over 2a is equals to plus or minus the square root of minus c over 2 over a plus b squared over 4a squared. We can get the, this is a, we can get the LCM here. So we have our x is equals to, we take b over 2a to the other side, so it becomes minus. So we have b over 2a plus or minus. Now we write this as the LCM here is 4 squared. So it is the square root of, this is LCM is 4 squared, 4a squared. 4a squared divided by a, we will have 4a. So we will have minus 4ac, and then we have plus b squared. So we can get the square root of this 4a squared. It will be 2a. So we will have x is equals to minus b over 2a plus or minus. Now we get the square root of, we can start with the b squared now, minus 4ac divided by, now the denominator, we get 2a. Now if you look at now this here, minus b over a, and this other side we have a common denominator. So we now have our x is equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. All this is divided by 2a. So this is our quadratic formula. So what you need to do is to identify the coefficient of a given equation, and you substitute here, and you'll be able to get the solution to the quadratic equation given. So let's do several examples so that you understand how we apply the quadratic formula. Our example 1, solve this quadratic equation using quadratic formula. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 7 is equals to 0. So the first thing you do is to identify the coefficient and the constant. So we can see here that our a, the coefficient of x squared is 1. The coefficient of x is minus 2. And the constant is equals to minus 7. We have derived the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is written like this. It is important you master this formula. X is equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c. All this is divided by 2a. We now substitute our constant here, that is for a, b and c, and we say x is equals to minus, our b is minus 2, so we have minus 2 plus or minus the square root of minus 2 into bracket squared minus 4. Our a is 1 and our c is minus 7, so minus 7, close the bracket. All this is divided by 2 multiplied by our a, which is 1. Now we can now solve this by saying this is equals to, that is our x is equals to minus 2 multiplied minus 2, it will be give us 2 plus or minus, we get the square root. Minus 2 squared is 4. Here we have minus 7 and here we have minus 4. So minus and minus will change to positive. So we have plus 28. All this is divided by 2. From there, we now have this is equals to 2 plus or minus the square root of this will give us 32 divided by 2. You get the square root of 32 and you get it is 5.66 using a calculator. So we say our x is 2 plus or minus 5.66 divided by 2. So this gives us 2 plus 5.66 divided by 2, or 2 minus 5.66 divided by 2. Now you can use your